Let's start our discussion with the most simple type of object in R, atomic vector. Now you will see that most structures in R are built from atomic vectors. Now what is an atomic vector? Atomic vector is just a simple vector of data. Remember we created an object called die in our previous session. The die object is atomic vector. Now you can create the atomic vector by grouping some values of data together with the function C. C stands for concatenate. Now let me create the die object again. I use the function C, stands for concatenate, and I run this command. Now you can see the object die is created. Now if I want to see the type of this object, then I will use is.vector function. Is.vector die. So if you see, if I run the is.vector function, then it gives me the value as true. That means object die is a vector. So is.vector tests whether an object is an atomic vector. So if it is an atomic vector, then it will return a true, otherwise it will return a false. Now it is not necessary that the vector should always have a multiple values. The vector can also have a single value. So for example, I create a vector, say 5, which will have a single value in it. And if I run this, and if I use is.vector function to test whether it is a vector or not, then you can see that it will return true too. It will return true. That means the vector can also have a single value. But one thing you must remember is that each atomic vector can only store one type of data. For example, in case of this die vector, we have created only numeric values. Similarly, you can also create a vector of character values. For example, I will create a vector called text, okay, and I will create all the text in it. Text 1, text 2, text 3. So you can see that I've created a vector called text, but in this case the text has all the characters in it. And if I run this, then you can see that it will show me all the characters. Now if I use is.vector function, then it should return true. Okay, that's what it is showing. So remember, the vector can be a character, vector can be a numeric, but one thing you must take care of is that whenever you create a vector, one-dimensional vector, it can store only one type of data. And there are 6 types of atomic vectors in R: doubles, integer, characters, logicals, complex, and raw. So we will see these types one by one. Now let's discuss about the first type of atomic vector, doubles. Now doubles is a vector that stores regular numbers. So the numbers can be positive, negative, or they can have digits to the right of the decimal place or not. So in general, R will save any number that you type in R as a double. For example, the die object that you see on the screen is a type of a double vector. Now if you want to check whether it is a double vector, whether the object type is double, then you can use type of function, type of die. Now if you run this, then you can see that it has given the output as double. Now let's see the second type of object, integers. Now integer vectors store integers. Integers are plain numbers. They can be written without a decimal component. Now you can create a integer in R by typing a number followed by an uppercase. For example, let me create the integer object using C function, and as you can see I am using uppercase L in front of every number that I am typing. Integer, now let me run this and let us use type of function integer and let us check. Yeah, here you go. You can see that the object type int is integer. Now please remember that R will not going to save a number as an integer unless you include the capital N in front of the number. Now integers without the capital L will be saved as doubles. Now what is the difference between doubles and integer? Well, the difference lies in how R saves the number in your computer's memory. For doubles, R uses 64 bytes of data, and for integer, R uses 32 bits of data. You can create a character vector in R by typing a character or a string of characters surrounded by quotes. So for example, if I want to create a character vector, then I would write all the string of words between the quotations, between the quotes. Hello world. And if I run this, if I run the text, then you can see that it gives me the output as a character vector. And if I use type of function to check the type of object, then it gives me the type of object as character. Now the individual element of the character vector are called as strings. For example, hello is one string, world is another string. Now the string can contain letters, symbols or numbers. Now here I have written another character vector called number. Now in this case I have used 1 and 1. Now remember that 1, though it is looking like a number, but it is not a number. It is still treated as a character. Why? Because it is written within the quotes. Anything that is written within the quotes, R will treat as a character. Now if I use type of function, you can see that it is a character. So please remember that if I write the number within the quotes, then the R will treat that number not as a numeric object but as a character. Let's discuss about next R object, logicals. Now logical vectors store trues and false. So basically it's a Boolean data. So when you want to do the comparisons, then the logicals are very helpful. For example, if I want to compare 3 and 4, and if I run this command, then you can see that the output is logical. I can also create a logical object by writing trues and false. So remember, when you write true in capital or false in capital, R will treat it as a logical logical data. So let me run this logic, and if I use a type of function, then it should give me, yeah, here you go, it should give me the output of logical, which it is. Now the last star objects are complex and raw data. Now please remember that as a data scientist you would be using doubles, integers, characters and logicals. These are the most common type of atomic vectors that we will be using in R. But the complex and raw objects, we will not going to use them at all in our analysis, and that's why we are not going to discuss them.